So, okay, 10 seconds to go. TYPO3!
Very good.
Yeah. Yes, everybody, as this is an introduction to TYPO3, we are going to do this in a German accent. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I volunteered for this session. Of course, knowing that there would be lots of very knowledgeable TYPO3 people in the room. So I do a lot of TYPO3 installations. A lot of them are in the cases where I go to talk.typo3.org and I see that there's a new question and someone is struggling with how to get TYPO3 running, for example. Then I try to do a new TYPO3 installation and set up TYPO3 just like they are running it and see if I can reproduce the issue or make beautiful screenshots. So that's my background to installing TYPO3. And then we have some people who want to set up personal websites using TYPO3. And I thought what I could do in this presentation is to go through the installation steps, just talk a little bit about that, and then we can have a discussion about what extensions you need and which ones you don't need. And I have a very interesting proposition that is that you actually don't really need any more extensions. You can do everything with TYPO3, and then we can argue over that or look at different solutions, okay? So would that be tolerable for the people in the room as a sort of first setup? Yeah, very good. So the first thing you need to do in order to install TYPO3 is to actually download it in some way, shape, or form. The recommended way to do it is using Composer. Who here does not know about Composer?
But I did just install it the old-fashioned way, and for me there was no problem.
Yeah.
It runs like great.
Yes. That's what some people call the legacy way, some people call the non-Composer way. I'm going to show you the Composer way, because Composer is a package manager for PHP that keeps track of all of the different versions of extensions that you have installed, and it avoids problems relating to, oh, you installed the extension for version blah, but you have version foo now. You know, it's easier to keep track of things. I'm also running, on my computer, I'm running both Docker and DDev. Nice. Who here do not know about Docker or DDev?
I don't know DDev.
Okay, so DDev is a software that actually TYPO3 is supporting with budget. It was originally created by a hosting company that wanted to make a sort of easy to publish hosting solution, but they ran out of money, and now DDev is an open source project that sort of lies on top of Docker and makes setting up TYPO3 sites and running them much easier. So it takes care of some of the extra work that you would otherwise have to do. So I'm going to install TYPO3 version 13, which is the most recent TYPO3 version, 9.13.4.5. And I'm on get.typo3.org right now. And there are different instructions here on this website. Can you read this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can.
Yeah. And the top one is, of course, the most recommended one, set up a new project via DDev and Composer. So that's what I'm going to do. It has the different instructions here. I'm going to show you how to skip one step, but shh, don't tell anyone. So you need to know the command line in order to follow this process, but if you're going to work with TYPO3 in a, learn it for a professional use, then this is also the recommended way I would use, also because it's compatible with continuous deployment and things like that you might need later, and it's easier when you're working with code and different code versions. So I'm going to open up my terminal here, and I'm going to zoom this in. As you can see, I like white background in my terminal. I don't know what's wrong with me, but that's how I was born. And I do all of my TYPO3 sites in the development folder, so personal secret. Then I'm just going to make a directory here. What should we call it? Venlo T3 v13, for example. And there we go. This is where I'm going to make my TYPO3 installation. So a lot of this is just copy and paste, but the first command here is a ddev command. It just configures ddev for using TYPO3 and with the right doc root and things like that. Mostly, actually, when you use ddev, these things will be discovered for you, but because we have no TYPO3 project in here, we're just starting by configuring some simple things at the beginning. I have to allow something here, I don't know what, but...
So, question, Mathias, if you do this, you get extra stuff also, or?
Sorry?
I mean, I installed the legacy way, but if you do it like this, it also updates other software? Or?
Yes, and it includes a lot of software as well, and you have one command to enable Xdebug, for example, or you can set up tryout with different databases, and I can show you some of those going forward here. But okay, so now I've just configured it for TYPO3, and then I'm going to install it. Yes. Yeah. So yes. So what the man is saying is, because I have a microphone here and this is all live and there's 100,000 people watching this. Thank you for watching. Buy my new shampoo. The ddev has all of these configurations for TYPO3 built in, so it installs all of the Docker images and it configures everything correctly for the TYPO3 version you're using. And you can run it with different PHP versions and different databases and different things like that, so you can set it up and configure it in the way that you do, but by default it's using the preferred packages for TYPO3. So it also, you don't have to install ImageMagick or GraphicsMagick or things like that. And it also configures TYPO3 automatically for whatever ddev is using, which is handy. And then the second line here is composer create, which creates the project based on the base distribution of TYPO3. And the trick here is to remove the no install, because the next line here is to do a composer install. But yeah, I don't know. It saves a line of code. And if I click this one now, ddev will run composer and install TYPO3. And there we go. La la la. Yeah, so what it's doing is that it's creating the Docker containers, and then now it's booting them up and making them ready. And of course, waiting for prompts is half of this talk. There we go.
But this is not only for local. You can also do that on your own web server, right?
You can do it on a web server as well, but then you won't use ddev most likely. You'll just use Composer directly. It is possible with some hosts as well to push a ddev configuration file, and it's converted to whatever hosting environment you have. So that is also possible, but I can't say that I know heaps about that, but it is a special command for Composer where web hosts can write these kind of scripts for you. Just write ddev push, I don't know, Mitwald or something, and then the code comes to Mitwald in the way that it should be, and everything is pre-configured for you there as well. So now Composer installs TYPO3 and all of the dependencies for TYPO3. And while we're waiting, I can tell you that of these dependencies, Drupal core has about 66% in common with TYPO3. So it's quite a lot of shared code now between TYPO3 and other CMSs. Although TYPO3 has more dependencies than what Drupal core has. So it's maybe 20% of the TYPO3 core has 60% in common with, with Drupal. So now we've installed TYPO3. Then we'll just do a TYPO3 setup here. DDEV, as I said, will actually normally do this for you as well, but this is just how the install script works here, that it will configure these things for you. And it, of course, asked me to set up an admin user in TYPO3. That's good. I'm going to call my admin user admin and give it a secret password, admin1234 exclamation mark. There. And I don't need to give an email right now. I can call it something. Venlo TYPO3 demo. There we go. Should I create a basic site? I'm going to say no. And now TYPO3 is set up and done.
If you create a basic site, then what happens?
Then it will create a site configuration and one page with a very, 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 very basic design. And that's why we're working on the themes for version 14 so that we can have, you know, going back to the football club that was in version 3.6, and, you know, that's what we want to do. But today, if you do it, you have to install the introduction package to get a proper design. And that's very simple when you have Composer running. I'm just copying this one, which is the DDEV command for running Composer. Okay. When I run Composer normally, if I had removed DDEV here from down here, I would be running Composer on my computer in my computer's environment. But when I run Composer, Composer will check what PHP versions I have, what's you know, what database is available, those kind of things. And my computer setup might not be the same as the container setup in Docker. So what I'm doing here when I run DDEV Composer is that I simply run Composer within the Docker container that DDEV has created. And that means that Composer will install all of the dependencies based on that Docker container and not based on my computer. That also means that if I'm working in a team, I can have a DDEV configuration that I can share with the rest of my team as a part of the project. And everyone in the team, no matter whether they're running Windows 95 or, you know, whatever, will always have the same Docker containers running. And I'm requiring the introduction package, which is an extension for TYPO3, and that's being installed now. And once that's done, I just need to run DDEV TYPO3. So this is also a thing where DDEV makes things a little bit faster. Instead of writing, you know, DDEV exec bin / TYPO3 blah blah, I can just write TYPO3, and it will run the TYPO3 CLI script, which is faster. Extension setup. And it sets up all of the extensions, all of the database stuff, imports.
Question, when you're doing this for local installation, if you're planning to port it later, like host it someplace, are there things you should be concerned with at this stage in the install, like configurations or anything?
Not really. I mean, we can look at that in a sec, actually, how things are yeah, but it's really so that, you know, you can run your local development environment. Of course, if you're planning to have this on a server later, you should try to make your development environment as close to your server environment as possible. But TYPO3 can also run different configurations depending on which environment you're in. So, you know, in local development, you might have a mail hog or something like that that's catching all of your emails. But for the live site, you might want to have a different email configuration to send emails, and you might have emails off in your staging environment. Things like that you can configure individually for the environments where you're using it. But TYPO3 is always using committable configurations, which means that you commit those configurations to Git, so you have it in versioning. So you can always see when changes to a configuration are made. It's not so that you have, you don't replace files in your repository. You have all of the configurations, they can always be read, but there are conditions that load different configurations. So now we've installed TYPO3 and made a new introduction website, and I can run ddev launch now, and that should be everything we need. Let's see. And it takes a moment because it's resizing all of the images. Here we have the new site. ddev launch, yeah. Blah. Yes.
Every time you do it.
Because I do this really often, so I know what that.
Did you need to configure anything to get this local URL?
No, ddev fixes that for you, and you can also run multi-site installations inside of ddev. It's just a line of configuration that you add, or a command you run. And ddev launch is also cool because you can run ddev launch TYPO3. Guess what that does? Oh, it lets me log into the backend. The magic here is just that you can add any URL or as an argument after launch, and it will just go to it. So if you write TYPO3, it will go to domain/TYPO3.
DDEV is not TYPO3 specific, right?
No, ddev works for a number of different platforms. But TYPO3 was one of the first platforms to kind of standardize on ddev as a recommended local development environment.
So the TYPO3 developers created a script for ddev?
ddev created support for TYPO3. And if you think about the first letter in ddev, and I think you find out which CMS they originally made it for. But yes, it wasn't WordPress. And if I log in now, yes, here we have my TYPO3 backend. I can make this a bit bigger for you guys. There. And I have my site right.
This is now also configured with Composer.
This is all configured now with Composer, yeah. So the extension manager will, if you remember that from the olden days, or when you do a legacy installation, I wonder if my saved password works there. No. There. No. There we go. It will say that we're in Composer mode, so you can't do anything with the extensions. But the point with this is that you should be able to know that what's installed in your local environment is the same thing that's installed in your live environment. And that's really important. Yes. So the page tree, and as you might remember, the page tree in TYPO3 is always a mirror in the menu, right? So you have home, spacer, features, customize. Home, spacer, features, customize, right? So the structure is mirrored there, and you can go into the congratulations page here and see the content in the different areas of the site, right? So now we have a set up TYPO3 site. Where should we go from here? What do we want to look at?
I'm curious to know how we go into production environment now. You set up something here, you make some changes, and then you want to...
Then you want to put that in, yeah. So what you actually do then is that, okay, there's different flavors of this, but I'll just explain the basic way it usually works is you have a Git repository here that you commit your changes to, and you push that, for example, to GitHub. In GitHub, you can have a branch that is called production, for example. And you can make a pull request and merge into the production branch. And either there's an automated script that pushes that to the server, runs deployment scripts and things like that, or you have a manual process where you go to your server in SSH and you just do a composer update and or an update script. Yes?
So if you're on DDoS, there are some hosting providers which already provide the API for DDoS, so you can just issue DDoS push.
Yeah.
And then all the configurations are automatically pushed to your web server.
Yeah.
That's one option. The other option is that you inside of DDoS also can use RSOS to do all the stuff and push it from your local installation to the system, so you don't need to do that. All the easy ones. And the third one is providing everything via Git and pushing everyone. So for a quick start, I would recommend to do the stuff inside DDoS, just push the stuff automatically to your web server when it's done.
Yeah. So can the million people online hear what he says, or shall I repeat it?
No, I had a question.
Yeah, I was just asking the guy behind you.
Oh, sorry.
Can the people online hear Ingo, or should I repeat his comment?
You need to repeat it.
Yeah. So what Ingo said was that you can do all of this within DDEV as well. DDEV has support for different hosting providers that you can just, what is it? There's lots of commands for DDEV, but you can do, what is it? Push, yeah. Say, push files and database using a configured provider plugin. So DDEV push will push it to your favorite hoster, and then it will configure there automatically. And that's of course cool if you're only working with you and only have files on your computer. Then you can also have a repository on GitHub, for example, or Bitbucket, or...
So what's the configured provider plugin? I mean, I have a web server, but I don't
Yeah.
configure it.
Then we can do push H, isn't it? Yeah. So you have a few of these Drupal ones here. So Pantheon, Platform SH. Platform SH I've used with this, so that works. And Acquia as well. And there's also commands for Lagoon and Upson.
And many providers also have, in addition to that, so that you can now install it, there's also DDoS push Vitalt, pull Vitalt, so they have a plugin for that. So you can
Yeah.
check which provider does it. I think
Yeah.
Microsoft also has.
So Ingo says that Midvault also has an extension for this that you can install, so you can use Midvault, and there are also other hosts that have that, so you can check it. But yeah, DDEV gives those kind of possibilities to work directly with the hosting company as well. So, you know, DDEV is not a lot of magic, but it puts a layer on top that makes it easier to run commands. I once compared a command that a colleague of mine was running in Docker, and it was like this long, right, in my terminal, and for DDEV it was just this long. So you save a bit of copying and pasting, and you can just type in the command directly. So that's handy. Yes, so that's one way of deploying, and then you have the deployment configurations. If I open up our project in PHP Storm, let's see, we'll open PHP Storm. Yes, here we go. Then PHP Storm will show you all of the files here, and now we don't have this under Git, so you don't really see which files are hidden, but it's only usually the DDEV, the config, parts of the public that are committed to Git when you work. All of the rest are generated files. Yeah, the composer, JSON, and lock, of course.
Can open the Git ignore, we will see what is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's quite a few files that are not committed as well. They are only used when you're running TYPO3, including the vendor folder, which is generated by Composer when you install. But if you haven't worked with Composer, Composer JSON specifies your general requirements. So I want to install TYPO3 version 13, I want to have this extension, I want to have that framework. And then Composer lock specifies exactly which TYPO3 version you're using, exactly which version of every dependency, so that if you do Composer install, exactly the same files will be installed on the server or by a colleague of yours. But if you do Composer upgrade, it will upgrade the Composer log file so that it has the newest version or the newest compatible version of all of your extensions. So it keeps track of both your broader idea and the very specifics of right now. TYPO3 stores configurations in the config folder. There is sites. Guess what sites is for? Well, it's for sites, site configuration, and here we have the introduction package and the configuration for that site. This site has a base here that is just slash, but you can also insert environment variables here or a whole URL to change your the default domain, especially if you run multi-site installations with TYPO3. There's also languages that you can define here. Of course, TYPO3 is multilingual, and right now there's 3 different languages configured here. I won't go deeper into that unless you really want to. And the other thing here is that you define a root page in your page tree. And that is this page here. It should say 3 there, yes. That's the root page of my site. I can also access these site configurations in the site module here. And it's basically the same settings for what I want, the languages you can recognize here. You can define error handling, different routings. And all of this, when I save this, is stored back into this YAML file. So if I have a configured site that's working and I have a domain or environment variable here that actually works, then I can deploy that to any server and it should work there as well, as long as the server is also configured correctly. Good, yeah, that was the site configuration, and then you have the system configuration here. And there's 2 different files here. There is the settings file, and that is the global conf file that you probably remember from long ago. And that has the baseline configuration for the TYPO3 install. So every general configuration here is just put into a PHP array. This can also be edited through the backend of TYPO3 in the same way as the site, but it's stored in this file so that when you make a change, it is updated here. But for example, for databases, you might have a different database connection for your production site than what you have locally, and you can't override that in this file. This is just the baseline. And that's why you have the additional PHP file, which contains, in this case, DDEV specific database configurations. For a deployment environment, you might have multiple different conditions here that changes different configurations depending on where you're running the code. So that's the place where you can run this. I think in version 13 that there's even more possibilities for adding files and stuff here, but I haven't read up on that for this talk.
But all this you can also do in the backend. I would probably not go into a PHP file.
Yeah, I mean, if you, for the additional things that you have to do in code because it's based on PHP conditions, right? If you're in there, you'll change that. But yeah.
Yeah, but the basic things.
Yeah, the basic things you don't need to
No, exactly.
do. Yeah.
So you would say, I used to use the introduction package too,
Yeah.
you know, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, so my original question is actually also about, you know, what's the best way to kind of set up an easy website. You know? So I was looking at, so I've Bootstrap kind of default installed, but I find it not that easy. Somebody recommended use T3 Bootstrap, that might be a better option. So
yeah, I think the Bootstrap package is a package that tries to implement everything that's in the Bootstrap CSS framework, but also a lot more. And it is more complex than it needs to be for beginners. One of the things that I sort of get hung up about with it is that if I look at an image here, I have 6 different croppings for images, which is a bit overkill if I'm a beginner. I don't need to crop specifically for every viewport. But of course, it's nice to have that option. But we're working on more themes, also simple beginner themes that might be better for that. You had a question, yeah?
I'm curious about the content modeling in TYPO3. Like, what kind of content types come with it out of the box, and how hard is it to configure new content types?
So content in TYPO3 is based on 2 main data structures. The page, or page structure, which is the hierarchy, and then each page is a container for what we call content elements or content blocks, or generally records. That enables TYPO3 to be configured hierarchically as well. You can give user access or configure a site for all the pages of a site, a subset of pages, or a branch, or a specific page, for example. And then on the pages, you work with these content elements or content blocks. With TYPO3, you have, how many is it that come now default? It's like 20 or something that are basic content elements: text with image, text with media, lists, many different things. And the Bootstrap package comes with a few extra ones. And these are basically just expansions on the same data model. So everything is using the same table for content elements in TYPO3. If you work with what we call records, that could be things that are stored in other tables. But usually, if you want to list those records on a page, you go through a content element, what we call a plugin content element, that has the functionality to list those records. TYPO3 is also very much decoupled, which means that, well, now I'm an admin, so you see all of the fields that are available for a content element, but a header has a separate field. Body text has a separate field. Anything that has to do with the view is defined in separate fields in the database. Images in TYPO3 as well, that's maybe something to demo here, is TYPO3 has a file system abstraction layer, which means that in theory, this image could be anywhere. It could be on an AWS server, it could be locally on my computer, it could be pretty much anywhere, but TYPO3 will handle it as if it's a local file. And when I upload a file to TYPO3, TYPO3 will also check if that file already exists in my file system and alert me so that I don't upload the file multiple times. I can also take one file in the file list here, which tracks all of the files. Let's see if I can find an image here. I can take any image here. If I'm in list mode, I can go in and I can say replace. And I can select a new file from my computer that will replace this image. This is the original image that I'm replacing. So all of the references to that image is then also updated with that image. When I do demos for governments, I always talk about the president. Either you change the president or the president changes hairstyle. You can always replace the image very, very easily for that person. So there we go. I've replaced the image now on 4,000 websites in my TYPO3 installation. Ta-da. That goes really quickly. It's also possible, because of this, to go into an image and define metadata for the image that can be reused every time that you use that image. I can override that for each separate image elsewhere, but yeah, good to know. Yes, so that's a little bit about the data structure. We have 10 minutes left, I think, right? Yeah. Organizer says yes. Okay. 10 minutes of questions. Anything else that we should look at or talk about in those 10 minutes? Any specific wishes? Yeah?
So if anybody, you know, if you have a WordPress installation, you can just go to, I mean, there's so many themes that you can just install. And I've been just looking a little bit, you know, into the extensions. And is there anything, you know, that you say, oh, that's interesting, just try that as a theme, but
yeah.
Does anybody have experience with that, or would you recommend just the basic introduction package, or are there other packages around that you would recommend?
I'm usually using the introduction package, but that's just because of what I showed you. I usually just try to set up whatever someone else has.
I didn't have the introduction package yet,
But we are working on having more themes available instantly when you install, and also the site sets is one thing that we have come up with lately, which makes it possible to have a, I mean, I can just include the Bootstrap package here, and then I can edit, for example, colors related to one site. And I can reuse that. That's supported by the Bootstrap package, but it's really a core feature in TYPO3 where I can, you know, very often when we think about TYPO3, even though it's not true, most TYPO3 installations have only one site. But a lot of the time we think about TYPO3 as, you know, the perfect multi-site. And that means that if I have one design, like if I'm a government, let's say, and I have 250 websites like Rwanda has, then I can have one design, but I can have certain things that I can change for every site, you know, the logo or the colors or whatever, but I can maintain only one design, or two if I want to. But, you know, it keeps the workload down, and it's a more organized governance of the design than what you find often when you download themes from elsewhere. But it is still a goal to have more of these installable themes. I think that, I hope that agencies also will jump up to that and make more themes available from what they're using, because I think that's a good way of collaborating.
So from what I understood, it was something that people worked on at the surf camp. So
yeah, even surfers can do this.
Yeah, but where can you currently see the progress of it?
I don't know. Louisa, do you know? Oh, it's on, yeah. So, okay, so that's cool. Which one is it?
Because that would typically sound to me like something that people can collaborate on, you know, and provide this.
Do you know it? I mean, should I just scroll and? Interest is my extension. I'm talking about that later today. Yeah. Huh? Oh, theme portfolio. Okay. So then it should be possible for me to take this and just require it. Let's see.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I have not done this before. Boom. It all goes. Okay, so what is this? It's some dependency.
There's no dependency.
the requirement is dev main, of course. But I don't, because it's, let's see if there's a release. Yeah, so that should be compatible, right? Now we're in real demo mode, right? Yeah. Nothing is working. Okay, and, so if I just go into Composer here, what is the... Oh yeah, so this would be possible. It's just that it's not updated with being compatible with TYPO3 version 13. So right now it thinks that it's compatible with the dev branch for version 14, which isn't true. But this is something that should have been updated.
Maybe there's a demo page and so we can find where you can see something or...
Portfolio extension. Okay, so it introduces some content elements. It has some styling for a portfolio. It defines what styles there are. It has support for social media. Yes. Even XX. Oh, that sounds like something.
So how would you fix that problem now?
Huh?
How can you fix that problem?
Well, right now, this one, Composer keeps track of which versions you can use a software for. And this one has only been tested with some general development branch of TYPO3 and not actually with TYPO3 version 13. So the developer is basically telling me that I've never tried this with version 13. I've just tried it with whatever development version. And that means that you cannot install it just now. What you would have to do would be, what would you have to do? You would have to email the developer or make your own fork of this one and just write in that it should be compatible with version 13.
Oh, okay, cool.
But that's obviously this isn't what would normally happen in a perfect world, right? But that also shows the power of Composer, because Composer will not allow you to install something that isn't compatible with what you have.
Well, it seems to be like the initiative like this is pretty important.
Yeah, so it's a big focus for version 14, which I'm also going to talk about later today. Yes. Okay. Yes, okay, we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Final question?
Is there one easy way to put your following up on my earlier question of going live? Once you prepare your site locally and putting your database live, your database then is in the EDF container. How do you get it out and move that to your live environment?
To your live environment, depends a little bit on your live environment. If you have one of these deploy scripts that Ingo mentioned, you just run, push, blah, blah, and then it works. But DDEV also has DDEV export DB, for example, and that exports the database. And generally speaking, when I don't have a deploy script, let's see, where am I? Development, here we go. For the Somali project that we have right now, I have a post-deploy shell script that runs this after deployment. You can't really see this, can you? So it takes, it locks the backend, it runs extension setup, it updates language files, it updates the database schema destructively. It flushes the cache, it runs upgrade scripts, it warms up the caches, and it unlocks the backend. And this is just preceded by a Composer install. And with this script, I can deploy TYPO3 without using my hands. Yeah. And I've done this. I've done a major TYPO3 upgrade with this kind of script on one deployment. The deployment took a bit longer than usual, but it worked. So yeah, that's where we are. Okay. We're out of time by 2 seconds.
Thank you.
So now I have to check where I am next.
in this room? Is there anybody who's not understanding German in this room? I can do in English. This is not a problem. This is not my problem. This will be your problem.
I can understand the German.
So no source found. This is maybe an error here. Where is the HDMI? Okay. Maybe I have to connect this. So I will do this in English. As an international speaker, it's no problem for me. Okay, this is maybe the resolution is not the best. Accessibility is not the topic now. Zip, zip, zip. Keep it. Looks good, yes. Okay. So, yes, welcome to this session here about make-up basic tips. You know the situation when you are on a party and your lip gloss exactly matches with the lip gloss on the other girl and you want to change it fast, then today I have the solution for you. Okay. My name is Roland, I'm from Germany. Never Code Alone is my company, and I normally do a lot of software quality testing and deployment pipelines and all the stuff, and I'm very interested in fully automated processes. And a few years ago, the no-code community reached out in the world, and I was totally of fear and afraid against this, and also the word no code, and I don't want to see anything of this because I'm coder, and so I don't look on these tools. And on last week I was on a marketing conference in Gelsenkirchen, and there was a guy who shows a no-code tool. It's called Make. It's make.com. There are two tools in this place. One is a make.com, what is more the PowerPoint for the no-code community, what is super easy to configure and use. And the other tool is N8N. They are similar, but these are the two tools that are the most powerful tools of this. And today I will show you what target or what problem I have actually on my work and how to make this working with Make. So anybody of you who has anything done with tools like this, or watching some videos, some stuff like this? Did you ever see something like this? Yes? What tool?
Very long war stories from N8N and production.
Okay.
But maybe that's a topic for later.
Okay, this is maybe a topic for later, and yeah, this is also the basics here. So actually only 2 days ago, and I have a target with this, and this is spectacular. Okay, so we have actually a problem because we have our Never Code Alone page. Maybe we don't want the preview page, we want the real page. And this page is AI content only. This is something what we do since a few years. And on the beginning, on January 2024, we got 20 subpages, and today we have 150 subpages. It's all generated with AI content, what we copy-paste from chats to our system and something like this. And here is a glossar about accessibility, and this accessibility glossar is ranking in SEO. These are very high quality topics here, like Ellie, what is important, and we have here some detail page, and on this detail page we have what is Ellie, and we also have here some FAQ section, and this FAQ section has Google rich snippets implemented, and because of this Google rich snippets in FAQ sections, the pages are ranking very good. They also have they are very fast loading and have good header image and best practice on accessibility. We will see this maybe in this talk later. This is not the thing. The thing is that we have tons of content. This content is generated by 2 AI agents and then is copy-pasted by a content marketer to this page. And you see here that we have super much of these items. And we have our social media pages and activities on Meta and on LinkedIn. And when we make this post for the first time, when we make a new topic here, we make this topic and then we make an Instagram post and a LinkedIn post about it that we have a new topic, and then we don't do anything more on these pages. And it's really good content what you can handle out a second time or something like this. And we want to publish our content, what we have, a second time to the community. And it's a super boring job. And this is also what I have this meaning on this talk. You will replace people by using AI and automatic things. You will help them to make boring tasks with a better process and higher quality output, that it's standardized and they can focus on better work or how to improve the steps of the system to make also better results. So they going forward with this week, with this work, and then you can go from here, you can go to make a product on it and bring this to other clients or something like this. Yes, this is an important topic because everybody, when you see this tool, you see, oh, I replace all, my work will be replaced and all other places will be replaced, and this is not the thing. Try to work on this AI tools and to make something like 50 minutes a day or something like this and go on it. It will not disappear. You have to do it. Okay, so the understanding is clear, and I think you all have similar tasks like this. I'm also a YouTuber, and I publish 2 tutorials on Monday and Friday. Follow this channel, thumb up. But also, this is content what has to be published 2 days in a week. And we don't have this manpower to publish all the stuff that Roland generates when he's drinking Red Bull on night. When I come around from a weekend, I can say, here are 10 new topics, please push this to social media. And the social media team says, I want to make something what makes ever sense. And now Roland is coming back with his whole of content. He has enough content, let's do other things. Okay, so that's it. We will go to make this fast and live. So we have this Google Drive. .google.com, something like this. And then we switch to Never Code Alone. And on Never Code Alone, we have here some folder structure, and then we have here a make folder. And we just make in here a new sheet. So we have this Google calculator, and we say here it's a Camp Venlo, and here we have this cell, And in this cell, we will say, okay, today we make something about semantic HTML. So we want to publish this thing. This is just an example how to go forward with values in these tools. Yes, so you have to store this here. You can also make automated processes that checks here if something changes or something coming up or whatever. The simple thing is now to make the basic thing, and you drop in this link here. Why? Why I don't get this link? It's not my keyboard here. So we have now in this link here. Yes, and you want now to get the content from the page to this tool to go forward with this content. So we are here on the make.com page, and I do a login. And after this login, I don't know why I have to re-log in, but here is make.com. And here there are scenarios. And there are also tons of scenarios what already exist. Yes, you can have very good inspiration what you can do with it. But the thing is, start with something that you need and not with the hardest part. Okay, so we are going back to scenarios. And we say create a new scenario. And we have this new scenario here. We say this is a web Camp Venlo stuff. And now I have here modules. And you see that we have super much modules because it's connecting to anything what's out in the world. And also we have this Google Sheets. So here we have a Google Sheet. And on this Google Sheet we have a cell. Get a cell. And then when you have to configure it, you don't need anything of coding here, you just can click it. So we have this drive here. What is this? Google Shared Drive or something like this? My Drive. It's also connected here so far. It's super easy to connect things here. And then we want to get this file here. We have this here, never code alone, and then we have this make folder, where it was our Insta make folder. And here we have now the webcam Venlo. And on this, we have a sheet, what is Tabellenblatt 1. And we want to cell A1. This is the information that we want to get. And when we, well, you must not be empty. Wait, cell A1. Don't know exactly. Okay. So I think this will work now. And when you see this, you have here an output value. You see this, bundle 1 value. It's never code alone. It's a value from the Google Sheet. So this is a connection from something in make.com. And this is the first step you have to understand. And then you go forward with the step to another module. And you say, OK, I make a request because I want to web request something like this, where it is. Webhook, it's not webhook.
So the first step is just to get the URL, right?
It's just to get the URL, yes. I have to look to another scenario. How was this thing? It's an HTTP, okay. So, from this, you go to HTTP, make a request, there you need this URL from this sheet. And when you click on it, you have all values from the application just listed here. And you just say, OK, it takes this value, and that's it. So you have this. Now you have all the content from the page. And from this content, you want to get this to an, so we have now all this, when I run it, this is one, and this is one, and here now I have in the answer all data. This is my website. It's now here. The content from the website is now here. And you see here there's this HTML header and all the stuff. And when you want to bring all the stuff to an AI, the AI wants money for tokens, so you want to save text characters to have less costs, to make the AI call more efficient. So you want to reduce the content here. And now you have a parser here. And in this parser, you have match pattern. And then you will see here on this page that we have here this content row. And in this content row, I got this main ID content. What has this, what is only the HTML here from the content that I want to get. It has no navigation or all the stuff, yes? So maybe you have some section like, some similar section like this. And then you have this main ID content here. And then you can say here, whoa, this is very much. I think normally I can just copy this here from this here. Okay, I can just write it. It's main ID. Where is it? I think it's something like this. Content, and it's ending something with main, something like this. And in the middle, you have this really nice regex. I don't know if I got this now with this keyboard here, because normally I have some other keyboard. So you have round corners. For the function, then you have this kind of corners, and in these corners, anybody of you writing regex? But it's super easy. Perplexity and all the things can do this for you. You have something like this from beginning to end. Star, it's star question mark. I think it's something like this. And then you will match all the stuff from the content here that you need for the request. Hopefully this will work. We can try this with run once. Text parser could not last. Okay, it could not be the last thing. So we go forward to another thing, and another thing is that text. You have a converter that converts HTML directly to text. This makes a markup from this text, because now you have this ID content, what also has this really long A tags and whatever is in there. So you can say, okay, give me this HTML to text. And you can say, okay, there I have this HTTP request, and here is also, don't know where it is now, the output. Okay, my regex is not right. This could be, I will get this regex from my other scenario. Save changes, save anyway.
A quick question about Make. Are they constantly adding to those modules? Because there's a lot of tools now that do like that HTML markdown. I don't know if that's where you're going.
I don't get it.
That there's a lot of tools now that will
Yeah, you can, this is Make can connect to any tools in the web.
Okay.
There are super much things. I don't know exactly what I wrote here, not so good, but here now I have this scenario. Discard changes, and hopefully so this looks something similar, but it's not the same. We will try this now, and after this, maybe we can bring this content here to some AI. So we have this here at Entropic. You can also use OpenAI or whatever you want to do. They are super similar, this kind of tools. They have every time the same thing. You connect to this software as a service endpoint, and then you will check what model you need for this job. We just make here this haiku model. What is the lowest model here? And then you can say, okay, max tokens is something like 3,000, and you add a message here. And then you have a role, and the role every time is something like user. And user says here we have text, and on this text you are a social media manager to create a post for Instagram. So target community are developers. Make it high motivation to get a demo with us, to have some target about what demo with us. I think you can also make this bigger. Do not make a link in bio. Normally they say every time says here this target is linked in bio, but you can do this before you can update your Instagram profile with this making. You have the link already, and you can say put this link in the bio, and then you have also directly the link in the bio, and when you publish then your post, you have this link in the bio. This is also a cool thing, but for now we do not do any updates with the things here. So then you have follow. Here's the text. Is the text from the web page. And then you know that you have, when you have longer texts, you have to tell the prompt where it starts and where it ends, and this you make with routes. So they understand where the text begins and where it ends. And here you say, okay, we have this HTML to text parser, and now we have this text from our row directly on our Entropic. And maybe it will run now. It's coming up, it's coming up. It's stuck here because it's maybe don't have this, I have a little error here. So this text here is empty.
I think the regex is wrong, but I cannot see it.
The regex is here. Normally it should work.
What is S?
S is the end. White space? To get all the content from.
Yes, point star.
Like this?
And from the characters, you don't need backslash S. You're enforcing that there is a white space in the beginning.
Okay, can you just tell me the result?
Replace all in there and just make dot star. It's enough. You don't need brackets and question marks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when this works.
They sometimes call me regex.
Okay, regex trainer. Okay, okay. Okay, it's not a problem because, yeah, could be that I'm not so fit in regex. Couldn't be it. The input is empty. This is maybe the problem, that it's do not getting the right text. So it has no text. Maybe my regex was correct. Because it don't has any text, we need this text here from data. So you see debugging, it's also live here. So the input is still, the input is right now. And when we switch back to my regex, you will see that and later, after this demo, we will show some things that are working, yes, because you have a lot of questions. And I make some things here. I don't know, it's perplexity, make everything okay, regex. Everything destroyed. No, it was this parser here.
You need to specify the input for the second text parser.
Case sensitive multi-lines, yes. Multi-lines is also something, so believe in the group. We are here in a church. Just believe in the power of love. Okay, it's going better. It has something. It's writing something out. Whereas just the excerpt image, this is the right text here. This is good. And also, I think that I also do not have this, I do not have the text here selected. How can why it's not working? HTML, maybe I have to get this text from the parser to this here. It's not so simple, as unbelievable. So we save this, and now it's running. Isn't it unbelievable? Unfucking fussbar. And here the AI makes something, and the AI put out some content, and it says, hey, here, please. Big applause. So, and now you see here that here is an Instagram post, and you say that then you have to make something better. Here, you go to there and say here, do not make any notes, just raw output, raw output for direct usage on no code tools to go forward, to conquer the world with full content. So, and I think now maybe it's understanding, and now you rerun this stuff, and now there's the AI coming, and after this AI, you say, hey, we have here our content now, maybe it's better, maybe not. So you have this content now. Developers elevate your web accessibility game, unlocks the power of HTML and so the stuff. Yes, and then we do the last thing for this demonstration. Output in German, Ruhrpott style. Yes. Because we need this thing, and after this, you will go back to your Google Sheet because you want to see that I get this content back to somewhere. So we have this Google Sheet, we have update a row, we have here now the drive, it's my drive, and then you can select the file. So we have this never code alone, Insta flow. First I was thinking I'd only do this for Instagram, unbelievable or not? And now you have this Insta make folder, and on this Insta make folder, we have here our webcam stuff. And now it's loading the webcam stuff, and then you have this Tabellenblatt 1, what is a super normal name, and then you have here, I don't know exactly where I have to put this, but maybe you can say you have this row number. I also think it's 6 or something like this. And you have to also say what content will be in there. But I've not done this so far. Enter the row number, contains a connection. Maybe it's just pushing it in row number 6. We will see if this works. Okay. It's not updated, but maybe it has some ideas. Spread number 6, maybe I put it on the wrong thing. But this is not the thing. This is not the thing. The understanding is that you can just easy click things and make things work. What brings you a lot of power, because it's easy, because you just can click it here. I just do this since 2 days, so I don't actually have the full skills of the scenarios, but I have a scenario here, what it's working maybe a bit better. And the question, so your question is, yes, now I need the fucking image from this thing. Because they need the image from the header of the blog post. So you have here our normal flow, Google Sheet with an URL, HTTP connect, what gets this thing. Here with this magic regex, getting the content. From this, there's a new thing, it's just called router. And this router is giving you the exact content from the thing to different kind of ways through your application. So when you need this step, it's going forward. And then you have here, from here now, you have here Instagram, you have here LinkedIn, you have here this different kind of flows, what are selected, but you need the image on Instagram, yes? And with this, we have here also regex. We have the section area label excerpt image. This is a selector from the image here on my page. Here. Maybe. We have this section area label, and in this area label is somewhere an image, and this image has an uploads media content full semantic web. This is the image of the header, and I want to get this image. And from there, you can say run once. This is fast, yes, because there's no AI in the section, and then you have here this upload path from the image. And with this, you can go forward to different kinds of services. So this is actually the thing that I'm stuck on. Wednesday, we have the first session about, it's called Make Selbsthilfegruppe. We are now meeting every 2 weeks with 3 guys and talk about Make and make things happen in Make for 90 minutes every Wednesday evening in a Jitsi session and try to figure out things. And this guy also, he don't like LinkedIn or something else, and he has a few of blog posts, and he has a service. In this service, you can upload an image where he is standing with a laptop in front of the, so that you just see him with his laptop. And on the service, you can upload an image, and this image will copy it to a specific place in this image what you give there. And so he has every time I have a new blog post with his laptop and then a screenshot. There's also a tool what just can make screenshots out of your page, and it's dropping this screenshot to this laptop picture, and then he has an Instagram or a LinkedIn post. Here I wrote a new, it's unbelievable. It is super cool. So, have you questions so far?
Ist das auch automatisierbar, der Workflow?
What workflow? Yes, and that's a very good topic. If you could automate all the things. So first, this costs nothing. What I've done here costs nothing. You have 1,000 operations per month, costless. Anthropic clothes with Haiku, it's also no cost with this API call, yes? This is an important thing. The thing about fully automation task is you can here make a scenario, and you can make this scenario is watching all the time things of you. So when I publish a new YouTube tutorial, it's checking if this YouTube tutorial works. You can say make this every Monday at 15 o'clock or something like this, and then it checks, do I have a new video, and from this video it's going to run the full task. The important thing about the videos is that I every time make tutorial videos, and the best thing what I can do is to make a blog post about the content in the video and to link this back. You have the backlink here already. When I would say, please write in here the output and the backlink, I think it's maybe you have different. So you have here now this parser match pattern where you have the link from the beginning. This is very cool because when you are on another point on the application, you can also access all values from the way to your application. And that brings you this backlink back. The backlinks back, all right, yes?
Am I right that you can take with the router some conditions?
You can also do their conditions.
So if, I don't know, if it's black, you do this. If it's white, you do this. Okay.
There is a way to generate markdown files. When you see here when I just connect this here, this is the actually flow from, there's another kind of text parser, and then when you debug things, you can just go here with the right click. When you make a right click, you can just unlink, and so it's a way to test things where you don't need this AI. So make this AI on the last stand and just every time unlink the stuff, yes, so you don't have costs here. So we have the same thing here. It's going forward, and now it's going forward to this kind of AI connection, what just makes this Instagram post here. But here you have an output where you can see that it's just this HTML to text. And this HTML to text, you can also make this HTML to markup language. And when you can say you have this to markup language, you can directly upload it to Medium. Markdown, yes, markup, make up. Markdown language, and the Markdown language can also directly put to Medium. And so you can publish a Medium post by markup and say, and the video here to see all the stuff is there. And then you can take the link from the beginning and you have a backlink from Medium to your own content. Okay. This is something what is cool. Maybe I can show you something directly with my, because this I see yesterday. I have here a lot of stuff. Maybe we can see this. Let me download it. Hopefully, this is an flow from 8N8. Okay. And this is something what is super important when you, this is a good community. The community is making a lot of things and every time publish their things. So the thing is, don't start with something like this. Go forward, make some call about perplexity, give me the latest news about TYPO3 or what you have done, to play around with the things and mail me this every morning to my emails to get a little newsletter. This is a super simple case. Try to figure out when you have some messages or whatever from your clients or something like this, that you start to make a process, understand what the client wants, give in an answer or whatever. You have this little task everywhere where you actually use ChatGPT for. You copy something from right to the left, let ChatGPT run, get this back, and then you copy this back to somewhere else. And when you figure out some processes like this, make this with make. And just put it to an Excel sheet, the result. Start going forward with something like this. Here's a schedule trigger, here's a new post info. And then it's here a post plan, what is planning. This is a full automatic social media company. And there is research, and this research is a very good thing because maybe I have so now I have a blog post what I publish on Instagram. And the understanding is when you make long texts shorter, AI is very good. But when you make shorter text bigger, AI is not so good. And on this point comes in different kinds of AIs, like Perplexity AI, what gives you real-time content from the last night. So there is also things that you can say, publish every time new content about PHP unit or something like this. So figure out what is the news about PHP unit, go to Perplexity, research it, go to Claude to make a very good content post about this, go to Gemini to make this SEO friendly, and go forward with your content through different kind of AI tools to make it every time better. But use the power of this process, because everybody of you can say, write a new blog post about PHP unit, go to Perplexity AI and spread this out. And on the next 6 months, everybody will do this just by copy pasting. So you have an 80% average of good content out of there, what is fully AI generated just by copy paste. And when you want to improve this content, you can make an improvement process what is really work. Yet you don't want to do this work. And so you can make this content golden Vergoldung, Content Veredelung is the German SEO stuff for this. So you can have this content and makes this every time a bit better. And with the best content, you go to your blog post. Hi.
AI generated. What the hell are you reading down, you know? So I think that
this is not my. So I'm not a future predictor, and I'm not.
what's going to happen. I think we're already there. No, not yet.
I don't have the so.
I think most content now on the internet is still generated and written by.
Yes, it's okay. It's like that.
2 years.
Yeah.
What do you think? How much will it be?
No, somebody just did some research recently. Somebody tried to post that.
But this is another. They have eyes. They can see things. This is actually not the problem, because you also know that the internet is still up since 20 years, and not everybody is using really good content or selling stuff, or they make something like telephone calls, don't need configuration, don't have fully sales and lead processes. There are a lot outside that will not use this technique. You can use this technique for your business today.
I understand that, but I think it's a totally separate subject.
And for today, we make the first steps that we all bang the internet. And there are also other guys who are banging the internet. So go up full power. You have a question? No. Ah, okay, right. Just nicking away in my talk. Couldn't believe. So it's ended here.